This is President Trump's second address to a joint session of Congress. Ahead of the speech, CBS This Morning co-host John Dickerson asked voters in Florida about a number of issues from President Trump's first year in office. He spoke with 5 voters from the Orlando, Florida area. Some voted for President Trump, others for Hillary Clinton. They range in ideology from liberal to moderate to conservative. The youngest voter is 21 years old, the oldest 70. 2 are women and 3 are men. The conversation touched on a number of topics, including health care. Here's the pledge President Trump made before Congress last year.
Tonight, I am also calling on this Congress to repeal and replace Obamacare. With reforms that expand choice, increase access, lower costs, and at the same time provide better health care.
I'd like to ask you your thoughts about Congress.
Incompetent. They can't work together. They forced the health care bill down our throat a few years ago, and it passed the Congress back then. Health care is a privilege, not a right.
Larry, what do you think about Obamacare and the Republican efforts to get rid of it?
I think Obamacare had the right idea, but I think some of the policies just didn't hit the mark. It's a shame in this country that you can not have health insurance and you lose your house. I think Congress is irresponsible in that respect because they really haven't done anything. At least President Obama tried to do something.
Debbie, do you believe Democrats should run on universal health care for everyone?
Definitely, I do. I don't agree with what Angela said. I do believe that health care is a right and we should start treating it as such. You know, thousands of Americans will fly to a different country just to get a surgery performed because it would cost them so much less in another country, including the flight ticket. You know, personally, I had to have teeth pulled out when I was younger. My parents and we took a trip to India over summer vacation. We had the surgery done because it was way, way more cost efficient to do it in India.
Healthcare can't be a right because while things like your freedom of speech and freedom of press, religions, those are things that you can do. When it comes to health care, you're asking other people to do it.
Well, you're saying, you know, healthcare can't be a right. I'm saying that it should be a right. We should have some sort of pathway to get to that point where every American in this country can have access to safe and legal options when it comes to, you know, maintaining their well-being.
And then we're going to have a problem with a single-payer system, and that is not good in this country. I mean, it is really messing up in the United Kingdom, Canada. You have a long wait. In this country, I can make an appointment tomorrow and within a week see my orthopedic surgeon, and he could tell me I need a total knee replacement and have it scheduled and done.
As long as you have the money and as long as you have the health care, you can do that. But our point is, or my point is, not everybody can do that. There's a percentage in this country that do not have health care, or they have very limited health care. And all I'm saying is everybody in the country should have basic health care. If you want a better policy, you can pay for it even more. And I'm not saying that the government should have to pay for it. Everybody should have to give for their own health care.
Angela, it's a year into the Trump presidency. Is the country better off?
I believe it is doing much better. The stock market, I know eventually it'll end, but I think the economy is doing much better. I'm seeing more jobs.
I completely disagree. I don't think it's doing any better. Sure, the economy is getting better, it seems, but the economy is not the only thing that we have to look at when we're describing the country as a whole. You know, racial tensions are increasing among whites and blacks. Healthcare is a crisis in this country. We've got the opioid crisis. I don't think ultimately as a whole the country is doing any better than it was.
Financially, we're doing much better. I think that with the addition of Gorsuch, our Supreme Court has improved. On the flip side, as Debbie's pointed out, there are breaks in the American culture. It used to be a homogenous culture. It's not anymore, and it's unfortunate. I hope that we can get back to a point in which Americans look at America and we're proud to be Americans, and we're not divided up into, African Americans and Hispanic Americans. We're all just Americans. And I wish we could go that way.